All right, so we are officially live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the webinar. This is Social Media for Advocacy. I'm your host for the webinar, Ryan, and I'm with Halt to Harm Network, which I'll tell you about a little bit more at the very end of the webinar, although you probably know a little bit about the network already. The sort of in a nutshell version is that the network is a group of leaders that are all focused on fighting the harms of the oil and gas industry and providing resources to each other. So there's a directory and there's a number of services, and the services and everything that we're doing, including this webinar, are things that are provided by people in the network. So that's the gist of it. You can go to halttheharm.net, and I'm just going to pull up our welcome screen here as we filter in, because this is a live event. There are 21 people live at the moment. A few more have registered, so we know that another 10 or so people are gonna be filtering in here. But as we get started, just drop in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm sitting in Ithaca, New York at the moment, which is in the Finger Lakes region. This is where I live. And then while I'm watching you respond, hi Ranjana, how's it going? Hi Angel, hi Ruth, hey Jillian, hey Jan, hey Jane, hey Joy. That was awesome. Katie, how's it going? Katie's here as well, live.
I'm live from Philadelphia, Center City.
Awesome. Hey, Salam in Cleveland, Ohio. David in California. Chris, Colorado. Nice. Pittsburgh. So we're getting a pretty good range of people coming even from different time zones, which is really cool. Providence, Rhode Island. Awesome. Hey, Jillian.
Hey.
It's great that, so if you've seen some of the previous webinars, this time we all kind of appeared at once live, which is fun. So we figured out how to use the green room. But Crowdcast is pretty fun. And one of the things that we really like is this chat box. So let's talk about a couple of logistics here. So the chat for real-time engagement. So you've already seen that. So if you haven't said hi yet in the chat, jump in there. Hey, Vicky, Cindy, Carol, Ranjana. It's great to have everybody tuned in and participating right now. But if you have any problems at all, you can contact me really easily. It's ryan@halttheharm.net. So you can just send me an email. If you have any problems with the platform with Crowdcast or watching this, then we can send you the replay video and make sure that you can watch that video. So again, just contact me anytime. So yeah, Jan, sorry, we don't have a phone number to call in and listen. And this is actually going to be a pretty visual presentation. So it might be best for you to get the replay. But if there is a phone app, so if you have a smartphone or a tablet and you wanted to download the app, there's an app called Crowdcast. And so once you have the app, I think the link in your email will open it up for you. And you can log right in. So John in Southwest Pennsylvania, Jerry in Kentucky. Oh, this is great. We have a great crowd, and I think we're ready to start casting.
I'm excited for all the Pennsylvania people here. I'm partial.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, so let's see. So just really quick, in today's presentation, we're just going to preview a couple of the things that you're going to get from the presentation. You jump back one slide real quick. Oh, never mind. Jump forward. So sorry about that, folks. So in today's presentation, you're going to learn some of the things that Katie and Jillian bring. These are skills that they've developed to harness social media to bring about change. So it's called Social Media for Advocacy. And they're going to talk about the 3 most popular social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, how they can be utilized for advocacy, as well as tips, tricks, and helpful resources. So this is really exciting because Jillian is the executive director of Protect PT, and Katie Edwards is the social media person over at the Clean Air Council. So we couldn't have a better team to be teaching us how to be more engaged in social media. And so as we get started, I'm going to step back and turn this over to them. And I'm going to start taking some notes too, because I know that we have so much to learn over at Halt the Harm too, so we can keep serving everyone in the network.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. So I'm going to just go over the couple slides here at the beginning. For all of you who may or may not know, Katie and I and other organizations, the Protect Our Children Coalition, which is POC. Protect Our Children Coalition is actually a coalition of parents, concerned citizens, and advocacy organizations dedicated to protecting school children from health risks from shale gas development and infrastructure. And so basically Protect PT and Clean Air Council and a bunch of other people get together, and we try to bring resources to communities across Pennsylvania. And in this case, we have a great audience from across the United States, and deal with issues that pertain to shale gas development. Protect Our Children is specifically dealing with issues surrounding school children and shale gas near schools. But obviously, some of these organizing principles that we try to promote can be used for anybody in the community to fight shale gas. If you go to the next slide, Katie, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. So the reason why we're here is because unconventional gas infrastructure is expanding into more and more communities. We see that people in neighborhoods are seeing more of this industrial infrastructure, and so there are different ways that we can participate at the public in the public process to make sure that we can get protections for our communities, and whether that be at the local municipality, the federal level, or the state level. And some of the techniques that we're going to talk about today, Katie specializes in doing social media for the Clean Air Council. I've been in one other webinar with her, and it was really, it was very in-depth and very educational. And so I'm really happy that she has agreed to do this, this webinar again, because I feel like social media is one of the ways that we can really build our movements and utilize the tools that are available to us for free a lot of times to build our community and to get our message out there to people that normally wouldn't see us on other platforms. So Katie, I'm going to have you take it away from here.
Thank you so much, Jillian and Ryan. It's great to be with everyone today. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, my name is Katie Edwards. I'm the social media director at Clean Air Council. I have been fighting oil and gas for 12 years at Clean Air Council. In a number of different roles. And I kind of fell into my current role as social media director because I loved the challenge of taking really complex issues and translating them in a way that the public can easily digest, understand, and act on. And then as social media grew and grew, I found that social media was one of the best platforms to get things done. So I like to say that social media is our agent for change. Social media, when we talk about it, is really a broad term. It's used to describe an ever-growing array of interactive communication, networking, and organizing activities that take place using digital and mobile technologies. Among the key characteristics of social media are democratization and interactivity. There's fairly low barriers for individuals, organizations, and campaigns to produce and share material and build and engage networks of friends and supporters. The flow of information on social media is not a one-way street. This is critical because for the first time, the publisher is able to speak to the followers. This allows a widening sharing of information, opinions everywhere, and opportunities for engagement. So now that we've talked about how great social media is, we've talked about that it's low cost, easy to use, there's a wide audience, it's two-way communication, it's measurable. I have to address some of the cons. So we're all on here because we want to learn more about social media. We want to do a better job and we want to enact change. And some of the barriers are social media can be a little bit overwhelming. It can seem complicated. There is no filter on social media. People say what they want whenever they want it. But yet it's still a little impersonal and it's hard to cut through the noise. So hopefully this webinar today will address some of these barriers and make you way more comfortable using social media. The three networks we're going to talk about today are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook is the oldest. It's been around the longest. It's the largest. It has 2.2 billion users worldwide. Facebook also has a lot of organizing tools. Facebook is probably the best network for anyone to start with. After Facebook, there's Twitter. It's a little bit smaller. It only has 336 million users. Twitter's great for news content, but Twitter is also a very conversational network. People speak back to each other. There are ways to gauge sentiment on Twitter. And then finally, the younger sister is Instagram. Instagram is growing like wildfire. It has surpassed Twitter. It has 1 billion users. Instagram kind of daunts some people, but it's really the easiest to use platform because it's so simple and it's easier to be heard on Instagram because there aren't as many people. So after we talk about these networks, we have to start talking about our content. And you can't talk about social media content without understanding who you want to talk to, the audience, what voice you're going to talk to them in, the tone, and the timing. After you determine all of those factors, your audience, your voice, your tone, and your timing, then you can start to think about what you're going to post, and that's called your content. And here's just a small list of things that are, potential content. So when we're talking about the voice of a social media network, I really like to break it down and use the analogy of a newspaper. Facebook is your features section. You're going to use a semi-formal tone and you're going to speak to a really wide audience. Everybody's on Facebook. When we move down to Twitter, you want to consider Twitter your front page. You want to put up your most newsworthy and informative content. You're going to tweet in a casual or semi-formal tone, depending on who you're talking to, which we'll go over next. And then there's different organizations, event attendees, activists, they're all on Twitter that you're going to speak to. And then finally, Instagram. Instagram is going to be the Sunday edition of your content. It is highly visual. You want to tell stories through your visuals. The tone of voice is much more casual because the audience on Instagram tends to skew younger. Again, a little bit about audiences. You're going to speak in a formal tone to advocates and policymakers. As opposed to millennial activists, you want to use a casual tone. You may throw in some puns or quips. Whenever you're speaking to the media and press, you want to use a more formal tone. And then with event attendees, it's casual. Digital supporters, it's semi-formal. So now jumping into each network individually. Facebook is the first one that we're going to go over. Facebook has a ton of functions. You can do everything from create an event to sell a rug. We're not going to talk about rug selling today because this is about advocacy, but there are marketplaces on there. Facebook literally is a one-stop shop for everything. When you sign on to Facebook, this is the first thing you see, and this is really the most important, so I wanted to break it down. This is your news feed. Your news feed has all of the functions from a search engine to showing you the pages that you might be the admin of. Up there, if you guys can see my little mouse, it's so tiny. There's a part for ads. So if you start putting Facebook ads out there, this is where they land. And then the news feed is in the middle. Users share 2.5 billion pieces of content a day on Facebook, which means with all of that content going out there, how do you get yourself seen? The algorithm. We have all talked about it. How does Facebook choose what to show you in your newsfeed? This is a huge simplification, but we've broken it down into 4 things. Your newsfeed visibility is based on 1, the creator, 2, the type of post performance that's going on. So how many people have liked or shared the post? The type of post it is. Is it a video? Is it a photo? Is it a link? And the recency. How new is this post? That's how Facebook chooses to show your friends things. We all know that we put great content out there and we've come back to see that nobody likes it and we don't understand why. Well, you have to go back to some of these factors to see if it was recent, what type of post it was, and who created it. Again, going through this is a breakdown of how you can look at content and know how the algorithm is going to treat it, who posted it, when it was posted, what it is, and how many people have interacted with it. So some tips to hack this algorithm. First, target your audience. In each post, there's a function where you can turn your post from public to restricted audience. When you go into the restricted audience function, you can create audiences based on location or interests, and that will target your post to those people. So it's great because ads used to only be the things that were targeted, and now we can target organic posts. The second hack, I will slow down. I'm trying to get through a lot of things. So that's why I've been going so fast, but I can slow down. The second tip to hack the algorithm is to post video. On Facebook, video content receives an average of 400% more engagement than text-only content. 3, invite people who engage with your post to like your page. There's a function, especially if you're using Facebook pages on your phone, to easily look and see out of the people who have engaged with your post, who likes your page. And then 4, you want to make sure you're sharing your best content for your page and organization. This is an example. Greenfest Philly is a page that I manage, and vegan cooking, vegan restaurants, and vegan recipes do so well on that page. So I'm always looking for that sort of content. How to create the optimal Facebook post. First, you want to be posting 1 to 2 posts a day. More than that, you start to compete with yourself to get seen in the algorithm. A perfect Facebook post has 6 different attributes to it. First, it has a link or a call to action. 2, it has media like a photo or video. 3, it's brief. It has 40 characters or fewer if you can swing it. I know we all have a lot of important things to say, so sometimes our posts are longer. 4, it gets published at non-peak times. If you look on your insights on Facebook, you can see when your users are the most active, and you kind of want to publish at those non-peak times. For me, I find that 9:00 p.m. is a magic hour for posting. 5, it follows other posts in posting on a regular schedule. And 6, again, it's timely and newsworthy. Believe it or not, shorter posts produce better results. Status updates with 80 characters or less get a 66% higher engagement. So really think about that word economy. So as we talk about what goes into a perfect Facebook post, you can all see a post right here. I'm not sure if it's big enough for you to see, but if you take a look, can you tell me what this post does right and what this post does wrong? And just go ahead and chat it. Throw up any ideas. Got it. The link is listed. Too busy, image hard to read. Okay, so you guys are all right on the money. You want to delete the link out of your Facebook posts before you post them. So this is another example. Again, I'm going to nail home today what makes a good post. Shorter posts produce better results. You can see here, it's a very short post. There's only 5 words. It has a clear image. The content of the post is relevant to the page that's posting it, and it was posted on a timely manner. And it did well. So if you can see these 3 posts in front of you, use the chat box to tell me which post 1, post 2, or post 3 would stand out to you in your newsfeed. All right, you guys are all experts. It's true. 2 stands out the most. However, 2 has a fatal flaw. They left the link in the post. The post still did well because it had such a compelling image. But you can see, especially post 3, there's just way too much text and it's not engaging. Now I want to go quickly over Facebook events. Here are some hard and fast rules when you're going to set up an event. You want to use a very, very clear event photo with little or no text. You want to make sure that the event name is also clear and short. You want to use a date, time, and location that corresponds to a Facebook location, so it pops up when you start to make it. You want to invite other organizations to co-host your event because that shares the event with their networks as well. And you want to make sure that your description includes keywords and mentions so that you can tag people in the description. So not to pick on Jillian, but I wanted to ask quickly, what is wrong with this event? And she made this event long before she took social media webinar. Okay, that's right. The picture's too busy. There's way too much text in it. So moving on from Facebook events, here are some other tips. If you want to boost the attendance at your event, like we said, enlist co-hosts. Once you have the event set up, make sure to post in the event. Share pictures, share event updates, get the audience excited about the event that's coming up. Events are fantastic because every time you post something in an event, your audience that has RSVP'd for it gets a notification that you've posted. So they're more likely to go look at it. It's a real hack to the algorithm. Finally, as we move through Facebook, I want to plug Facebook Live. In the chat, just tell me yes or no, have you used Facebook Live yet? Great, so we're about 50-50. To use Facebook Live, it's pretty easy. It's just like setting up a status update. You're going to go to update your status, but you're going to choose live video. You're going to choose who the audience of your Facebook Live video is. You're going to describe it. This is my biggest tip for Facebook Live. Write your description for your Facebook Live event before you decide to go live. Keep it in a note on your phone and copy and paste it in. That way you're not just fumbling and pasting something on the fly while you're nervous about going live on video. Finally, you're ready to go live, tap the blue button. You can go live either vertically or horizontally with your phone, but you want to choose one and not flip-flop. Facebook Live is great because As I like to say, it's your own broadcasting arena. We use it all the time to broadcast press conferences. Reporters actually have followed our Facebook Live instead of going to the live press conference because they were unable to go. So it's really helpful for media reasons. As you're going live, you want to kind of talk to your audience. You want to be able to say, hi, I'm going live for this reason, multiple times, so people that tune in late know what you're there for. And Facebook Live, again, really important because when you go live, it pings your Facebook followers and tells them so that they tune in. So that was Facebook. I want to take some questions now before we move on to the next part, because I think once we get into the other networks, it could get muddled. So does anybody have any questions about Facebook?
Katie, I just want to mention a couple examples of things. If after this webinar, people want to go to our Facebook page and look for these things, it might be a good exercise for them to see. And so I wrote down some notes while you were talking. First, I do, when I do Facebook Live, I do like to go horizontal. I think it looks better. And I've had people that started one way and tried to turn it, and it doesn't look good. So I would suggest making sure you know which way you want to go before you start your video, because it will turn on you. I also wanted to mention that we did do a video for crowdfunding, and we got way more traction with that than just posting pictures. So we definitely have used that tip. Like Katie said, I did this webinar with her before, and my Facebook had changed dramatically since using the tips that she taught me. And then I always make a separate image for my Facebook events now that's different from my flyer that I'd put out to people at cafes or just at the library. I make a separate flyer. So when you're making flyers for events or images or artwork, and I think Katie's going to go over some really great tools to do that at the end. But I definitely use those tools and make your images, because it's really helped me a lot.
Thanks, Jillian. So we have a question from Vicky. She says, is it better to have closed or open pages when you're starting out? I'm going to answer that. I'm going to ask Jillian to also weigh in, because we're coming from different organizations. I think that organizations have to decide how they're going to use social media before they decide if they want closed or open. If you want to use social media to rally a small group of people and have open discussion, then I say use a closed Facebook group. If you want to put your work out there, start live, start building your audience, but know that your message has to be tailored for a live audience, as opposed to just having the people that you're organizing with use it as their own tool to kind of chat and organize.
I definitely agree with that. And in fact, Protect PT has two. We have a closed group, which is a way for people to really be able to express their opinions without folks, chiming in and trolling us. But it also, and for people to have like the mutual respect of other people that feel very similar to them. And then we have a public page. And while we post very similar media on both, we get a lot more communication back and forth with followers on the closed group, because they know that it's closed and no one else can see it. But what I would tell you is, if you do have a closed group, you have to be careful, because let's say you want to share something that you think is really important to share with friends, and those friends are not on the closed group. They're not going to see the content. Because it's coming from a closed group. So that's why I always think that large or small, if you want to be really seen and your message heard, you should have a page and not just a closed group. But that's just my opinion.
That's great. Thanks, Jillian. One more question. Is there a way to schedule events that happen regularly on a monthly basis, like monthly meetings? Yes. In Facebook, you can create an event series. So you put the event in and you can say how it's repeating, how often it's repeating, when it's repeating. Facebook events are really simple to set up. Once you get in there and you start playing with them, you're just going to see that it's simple, it's intuitive, and I highly recommend using them. So, any more Facebook questions? Because we're going to move on to Twitter. Katie, is that on a page or a group? The monthly or recurring series? It's on a page.
There is our Facebook question. It says, what is the ideal length for a live stream on Facebook?
So I have streamed up to 90 minutes, but the ideal length is 15. You want to keep it a little bit shorter. You want to stream more than at least 3 or 4 minutes, but I think beyond 15 minutes, unless you're streaming something that people know is going to last a really long time, like a hearing, and you want that hearing to be public, try to cut it off around 15. But that's another, just going to plug it one more time. Facebook Live is fantastic for holding elected officials accountable because you can live stream hearings. And we have actually caught our Pennsylvania governor saying something on Facebook Live that he had to then go and walk back. And we were able to say, hey, you said this, but you're not doing it. And we had it all because of Facebook Live. So Twitter. Twitter is probably the network that I'm going to guess most of you are not comfortable with. Can you, in the chat button, say yes, you are comfortable with Twitter, or no, you're not? Okay, so mixed bag. After this, I hope we're all comfortable with Twitter because it's a really powerful organizing tool. Twitter, again, is a relationship network. Twitter is used to find information, express ideas, gauge sentiment. It's a really powerful platform because it's unique that it's live, it's public, it's conversational, and it's a global platform where users can share and react to what is going on. Oh, really quick. Is it legal to, yes, it is legal to stream public meetings. Any public meeting can be streamed on Facebook, Jan. Back to Twitter. Twitter is often the place where the news breaks first, and it's your chance to weigh in on that breaking news. So when you log into Twitter, this is what you see. Oh, sorry, I'm going to the wrong side. You're going to see a stream of tweets from accounts that you follow. Important tweets are going to show up first. Then you're going to get some tweets that are called while you are away. Then you're going to get promoted tweets, which are ads. Your timeline is adjustable in the settings. You go up into the little icon where your logo is, and you can adjust them. And with Twitter, I say it's really important to use a social media manager like Hootsuite or TweetDeck to see multiple streams of your tweets and to schedule your tweets. So, Twitter 101, how to tweet. First, you should be tweeting at least 3 to 7 times a day. Unlike Facebook, Twitter's tweets have such a short shelf life. Tweets last for about an hour and then no one sees them anymore unless they jump into promoted tweets or the while you're away. Your tweet should be no more than 280 characters. It won't even let you tweet longer than that. The important information needs to sit first in your tweet. Always, always use a video, an image, or a link. Use relative hashtags and no typos. Twitter, once you put it out there, there's no editing your tweet. So you want to make sure that you double, triple, quadruple check it so you don't have to take that tweet down. I have taken down dozens, if not hundreds of tweets in my life. It happens to everyone. and you learn, you have to check. Here are some of the ways that engagement happens on Twitter. So people can like your tweet, people can retweet it, or people can comment to you. Since you're all pretty familiar with them, I'm going to go through this really fast. Some tips for using Twitter. Use hashtags. Hashtags can get your tweet seen by such a larger audience. Don't be afraid of them. That being said, don't overdo the hashtags. You really don't want to use more than 2 or 3 hashtags in one tweet. So think about which hashtags you're using. There can be no spaces or punctuation in a hashtag. If you tweet with a hashtag on a public account, anyone who does a search for that hashtag may find your tweet. That's relevant if your group is public or private on Twitter. Our group is public, so I've never had to worry about that. But some of you may not worry. I mean, some of you may be interested in knowing that. You can use hashtags to find other tweets for you to retweet and engage with. That's a great way to use Twitter. And then finally, you want to be using the same sorts of hashtags for your content across multiple networks. So if you use a hashtag on Twitter, you want to use it on Facebook, you want to use it on Instagram. For example, I use the hashtag #cutmethane all the time. I throw it in all my tweets that have to do with methane and global warming, all of my Instagram posts, and all of my Facebook posts. Live tweeting. So this is one of the most powerful advocacy tools, I think. Live tweeting is basically tweeting what's going on in real time. You're going to use live tweeting for press events, for rallies, and most importantly, for public hearings. It's a way to get your elected officials on the record. When you live tweet, you want to make sure that you're always using the right hashtag because that will categorize all of your live tweets together. You want to be able to find them again once you put them out there. So that's kind of what your hashtag for the live tweet is. You want to let your followers know that you're going to be live tweeting before you start live tweeting. While you're live tweeting, make sure that you're checking in with the hashtag that is being used to live tweet so that you can retweet and comment on other people that are live tweeting the same event, hearing, or rally. Share memorable moments and pictures, and listen and stay on topic. So live tweeting is another great way that I've found to kind of create your own earned media. When the press doesn't come to a rally that I've organized, I'm going to tweet out what all of the speakers are saying in their speeches. The easiest way to do that is if you're organizing something, ask your speakers for their speeches ahead of time so that you can pull out those really great nuggets that they're sharing. If you have a press release for your event, make sure to tweet the quotes from the press release. And then finally, pro tip, write your tweets ahead of time. I list all my tweets out and I put them into a note document on my phone. And then I just copy and paste them right into Twitter on my phone. And I'm not typing furiously like a mad woman at events.
Mention something that with that too, Katie?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when we have planned events or planned actions, if you want to get a larger audience to tweet with you, you can actually send your tweets, your suggested tweets out to your followers and have 5 different tweets or 5 different hashtags or something that you're going to use and ask other people that are on Twitter to tweet with you. And it can go to a larger audience. And sometimes having those campaigns built ahead of time is a really great way to engage your supporters.
Jillian, that's great. I'm not going to go into it in this webinar, but in Social Media 102, we can talk about something called social guidance. Social guidance is exactly what Jillian just talked about. It's when you pre-write social content for other people to use. So it's great for groups that are organizing together. So everyone is using the same tweet. And frankly, it makes all of our jobs easier. We're not kind of redoing the wheel. We're just tweeting out the same thing. So finally, some Twitter organizing tools and tips. The first Twitter organizing tool I highly recommend is a tool called Thunderclap. Jillian, have you used Thunderclap before? You haven't? Okay, I wasn't sure. I was going to ask. So Thunderclap is a really cool tool where you run a campaign to get people to sign up to tweet the same tweet. And if you reach your supporter goal, Thunderclap will blast out all of the tweets at the exact same time, kind of like making your message amplified. Finally, some other things that are cool that you can do on Twitter. You can host Twitter chats where you say at a certain time, at a certain place, which is Twitter, we're going to talk about a certain subject and we're all going to use the same hashtag. And you can pose questions to each other and chime in. Engaging with influencers on Twitter is really key. And by influencers, for our purposes, I'm just going to say elected officials. So all these tweets that you put out, you want to make sure that you're tagging your elected officials, whether it's on the local level, on the state level, even on the federal level, because you want them to be seeing these really important messages. I can't tell you how many tweets I send out a day that I tag Governor Tom Wolf, the governor of Pennsylvania. Finally, make sure that you're interacting on Twitter. You really have to devote some time to commenting on other people's tweets, retweeting other people's tweets with comments, liking tweets to get your followers to, first, it grows your followers. Second of all, it kind of gets you engaged in the conversations that are going on Twitter. And it helps engage the audience around you. So, yep, that was it for Twitter. Do I have some Twitter specific questions? No questions. If we have no Twitter questions, I will start to move on to Instagram. Oh, can an elected official block you for spamming? So that's yes and no. Yes, an elected official can always block you, but it doesn't happen frequently. In our current political climate, I do know that Donald Trump has blocked people on Twitter, but that's really the only time that I've heard it happen. I really have basically spammed Governor Wolf and not had any backlash. I know that we've done what are called tweet storms, where we send out dozens and dozens of tweets aimed at one elected official, and that's never been spammed. I think they're now treating Twitter as another way for them to be taking messages. The same way you would call an office, the same way you would write an email, you're now tweeting. So they're not blocking individuals for doing that, but yes, theoretically it could happen. No. So the next question is, if you hashtag on Facebook, does it post to the other social media platforms? No, it does not. There are a couple social media tools that they're called social media management tools. They're your Hootsuites, your Sprouts. They post the same message on multiple channels, but I don't recommend using them. I really think you should be strategizing what you want to say on each platform and saying it for that platform and for that audience instead of using the same canned message across platforms. We've all seen those tweets that are just like one link that look like they're formatted funny. They're coming from those managers where somebody said, oh, I want to tweet this. I'm going to send it out to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, automate it. They just don't, they're not effective. We're better than that. Finally, let me catch up on my notes here. Sorry about that. we're going to move into my favorite social media channel, Instagram. So Instagram, again, is a relationship and media sharing tool. Instagram is a free application for iPhone, Android that lets people take photos, apply filters to them to change the look of the photos, and then share them. Instagram was created in 2010 and it was purchased by Facebook in 2012. So there's a lot of Instagram and Facebook integration. For example, if you place an ad on Facebook, it can serve the same ad on Instagram. Instagram has a bunch of marketing benefits. It's a really great branding tool. It engages audiences. It uses really creative storytelling. It appeals to the emotions. And it's kind of that idea that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Instagram is really popular with millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y. So if that isn't the audience that you're looking to engage with, I don't think you have to worry as much about Instagram. But if you are looking to engage a younger audience and looking for future supporters, I highly recommend getting yourself on Instagram. Instagram 101, posting on Instagram. So first, let's talk about frequency. You should be posting on Instagram on a regular basis. So 3 to 5 posts a week is what I recommend. A perfect Instagram post should have an absolutely excellent visual. You don't want to be putting small, grainy pictures up. You really have to cherry pick and choose the best images for what you want to say. Your Instagram post should tell a story in a concise caption. So that's a little hard to do. And then you have to have a call to action that doesn't involve a link. There are no live links on Instagram unless you're a verified account, which means you've been on it, you have tens of thousands of followers, and then you can put a link in your Instagram story. Instagram is great for using hashtags to reach a larger audience. In an Instagram post, you can go up to 20 hashtags. You don't have to kind of dial it back like you do on Twitter. Emojis are great to use on Instagram. Like I said before, when we were talking about audience, Instagram kind of has a younger, more casual audience. This is where you can use your jokes, you can use your puns, you can say things that are a little bit edgier. You can even post a meme every now and then. On Instagram, you want to make sure that you're engaging with the people that are liking and commenting. So it takes a little bit more effort. You want to be responding to the people that are engaging with you more so than any other social media network. Some potential things that you can do on Instagram, you can report live, again, just like we did with live tweeting, except you're just doing photos. You can share screenshots of important things that you want to share. So you could have I could have today taken a great screenshot of the social media for advocacy webinar, shared it on my Instagram, and told people we are hosting this webinar tonight. You can regram other Instagrammers with a regram app. So that's sharing their photo with your audience. And then you can create picture albums. So you can post up to 10 pictures at a time in one Instagram post. So my pro tip for Instagram is you really want to commit to posting if you're going to do it. When you're starting your Instagram account up, don't go public. Post 20 posts before you start sharing it with people and acquiring new followers. Again, because Instagram is so visual, you want to be using some really cool graphic design, and I am going to tell you about some apps after that. There are graphic design apps that add text, logos, words to your images. That's how you see those inspirational quote pictures that everyone shares. There's a really cool app called Boomerang, which creates an animated photo effect. I'm sure everybody has seen a boomerang. And then Hyperlapse, which is just video that has either been sped up or slowed down. You'll see some of our posts. You can see they're all really visual. They're stunning images that we would pull people in and really catch their eye. Instagram stories. So about a year and a half ago, Instagram debuted a new feature called Instagram Stories to compete with the social media network Snapchat. Instagram Stories is a feature that allows users to post a photo or video, and that photo or video will vanish within 24 hours. So the stories allow you to poll your followers, ask questions in them. You can use hashtags so other people can see them that aren't your followers. You can tag locations. You can even tag other users. So I'll show you a story that I posted on Monday. And each story stays up on the screen for about 15 seconds. And then it moves on to the next story in your Instagram story sequence. Oh, there we go. So Monday motivation, I wanted to talk about how to live with less plastic. And then I polled my followers, how will they use less plastic this week? And that's an Instagram story. Super simple, but engaging, easy to use. Oh, same thing. Here's another Instagram story that I posted. I did a series of images in a row to celebrate Plastic-Free July. And in the first one, I even added a little animated GIF to it, which is an easy function to do in the Instagram story posting. But you can see the series of images linked together. So if they were being shown on your phone, on your Instagram, they would flip from one to the next every 15 seconds, and they create a longer form story. Some tools to help you with content. Oh, I'm going to take questions about Instagram before I jump into content tools. Are any of you on Instagram organizationally? Do we have any yeses out there? Yes, I use Instagram for my organization. Any of you thinking about using Instagram after this? Great. My job is done here. Professionally, I call this the summer of Instagram. So I've been really delving into Instagram and I'm seeing tremendous results. I think it's something that if you have a little bit of time and creativity and interest in, go for it, hands down. So now I want to go into some tools that will help you create the best social media content that you can. So the first tool that you should be using is a bit shortener. I really like Bitly because it tracks the links as well as shortens it. Everything that I post on Facebook or Twitter, I post as a Bitly shortened link. Second, Hemingway app. So Hemingway app is a language tool. It's web-based, and it helps you write your copy in a clear and concise way. Hemingway looks at readability, so what grade level you're writing at, if you have adverbs, if you're using passive voice, or if your sentences simply need to be shorter. Because we're trying to communicate with as many people as possible, it is imperative as social media managers that we make sure our posts are easy to read by a variety of people. So you can see here, I used Bitly to shorten this link. You can see I tagged Governor Tom Wolf. The man hears from me every day. And I used the hashtag from my campaign, Cut Methane. So social media and graphics tools. My favorite social media graphic tool is called Adobe Spark. It's a free web-based platform that allows you to edit images, add words to them, lay them out, and you can even animate them with video. So this quiz that I created, I made in Adobe Spark. I made this National Taco Day quick video. All of these things took me less than 10 minutes to make, and I made them in Adobe Spark. You can see, Happy Taco Day. Then Canva is another great web app. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Canva. You're using Canva. I used Canva to create this collage for Greenfest Philly, a festival that we organize. Canva is great, again, to put text over your images. And all of these tools will automatically size the images for your social media networks, which is really important because you want to be posting the images in the right size frames. Then finally, meme generator. I'm not the biggest fan of memes organizationally because I think sometimes the humor can be lost, but if you want to throw a meme in here or there, you can use meme generator. Finally, social media listening tools. A great way to find hashtags and know how popular hashtags are is a website called Hashtagify. It's hashtagify.me. And all of these links I included in the end of the presentation, so you'll get that. Your Facebook Insights. So when you're on the page for your Facebook, you can toggle to the top where it says Insights and start to learn more about your audience and your followers. Twitter Analytics, same thing. You go to your settings, you drop down, you can look at your Twitter Analytics, and you can see who your followers are, when they're online, the demographics of them. Instagram has the same tool. It's really nice that these platforms are sharing this information about who your followers are with you so that you can start to tailor your messages. Pro tip. If you're going to be posting a lot on Instagram, start to create a little library of notes on your phone that have multiple hashtags so that you can just copy and paste those hashtags into your Instagram post and you're not constantly looking for new hashtags all the time. So I have a whole slew of resources here that you will get to look at when you get the slide presentation. Just go ahead, look at them all, learn from them. I highly recommend all of them. There's links for all of the graphics tools that I just told you about. And I think we have a few minutes for questions. Oh, I even included a content calendar. So if you have so much social media content that you want to start scheduling it out, this is a content calendar that I like to use. And I think, yeah, time for questions. Jillian, do you have any comments?
I love the calendar idea, and I'm going to download that. I also think, Ryan, you're going to provide the slide presentation. Is that right? Or are we going to send it out?
Yeah.
To everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I can send out like a PDF version.
Okay, because sometimes
so people can flip through and they can remember things and kind of use it as a reference. Yeah.
Yes. The last time we did this, I printed out all the slides so I could remember everything because sometimes it's hard to, like when you're in the moment, you're like, oh, I should tweet that or something. And then you can look back at the tips that Katie gave.
Yeah, totally.
I have to go back and look back at my own tips all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's a technical question about accessing the recording from Salam. Yes, I will send out a replay email that has the link where you can watch this again. But the cool thing is that this URL that you're watching the video on right now live, as soon as we end this, it'll just switch over to be the recording. So you can actually share this link with other people, share it on social media, and it still provides the replay.
That's awesome.
And if you have questions that come up, you can always email me. You can even tweet at me.
Nice.
And just let me know. Well, Ryan and Jillian, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. This was really helpful for me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all your knowledge. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, if there's no more questions, then reach out to any of us for support. We have a really exciting announcement coming to you tomorrow about a new service that Halt the Harm is providing. In fact, but since we're here live, I might as well tell you, let the secret out, and everybody else will just have to wait till tomorrow. But tomorrow, Halt the Harm Network is announcing a new service where we're actually helping leaders in the network use Facebook advertising. So this is totally different than using social media with a personal account to do these things. But Facebook ads are really different, and they send a message to targeted groups of people. It's not just something for big corporations and politicians. In fact, our colleague helps local businesses like pizza parlors and massage therapists and stuff like that find audiences to connect their business. And he's going to be working with campaigns and with people in the network who are working to fight the oil and gas industry to be able to use Facebook ads. And we'll even be providing some of the funds to buy those ads for the work that you're doing. And so this is kind of like, if you're excited about using social media, this is just one more tool in the toolbox that we're excited to be able to connect with. So you can reach me, Ryan, at halttheharm.net. But I think the most important thing is that is a service for leaders in the network, and the network is totally free and welcome to anybody that's involved in this important work. Jillian's been with us for a while and has worked with Halt the Harm on some of the campaigns before. So I'm just gonna write a little note here for Halt the Harm and put like a little button there. But if you go to halttheharm.net, you'll be able to, here's the button right there, right below my video, and you can sign up for the network, and you can create a profile and share your interests and skills and zip code in the directory. And that's going to help connect you to other people in the network as well. So
before we get off, can I make another suggestion to folks out there? Okay, so Protect Our Children also has a guide online that has a ton of organizing tools on it that could be helpful for many different people. It's called Organizing ABCs, a guide to protecting schools and communities from shale gas development. And it's on the protectourchildrencoalition.org. I know it's a big title, but if you go to the website, and I'll type it in here in the text box here, but if you go to the website, Organizing ABCs, and we're actually coming out with a print version of it. So if you want a print version of it, you could email me. I'm happy to send you one, but just look out for that. And it has tons of tips on everything from fundraising to social media, to doing different types of outreach, to learning how to track permitting, legal issues, just tons of information. So please check it out, and hopefully it helps you in your organizing with your community.
And make sure to follow Clean Air Council. You may get some social media ideas. And if you follow us, I will be super happy to follow you back so that we can share content and we can engage and we can halt the harm.
Awesome. Yeah, you can follow Protect PT too. We don't have as much followers, but
great. Thanks everyone for coming. This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, Jillian. It's great working with you. Let's do this again.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.